Hello! Happy New Year! Welcome to Mickey's Kitchen. As part of 2025, I'll be cooking a new recipe every week. And the first recipe of the year and this first week of 2025 is Jewish pot roast. So I have a nice hefty cut of brisket. And I picked this recipe for a couple different reasons. The first one is that it's brand new. The second is that I wanted to choose a recipe that felt like a bit of a celebration for the New Year's. It takes a while, a little beefy, not something I would cook on a typical weekday. And then also Emmett said it looked really good on the New York Times app. And then the other reason why I wanted to pick this recipe is because I got a lot of new things for the holidays that I wanted to test out. So the first one is this gorgeous pot that my mom gave me as a housewarming present. It's extremely heavy duty, stainless steel, couple layers thick, and it has a very heavy bottom. So because we'll be browning some meat, you're gonna want a heavy bottom pot. And then it has a nice lid that can go in the oven and on the stove. And then the second new thing that I got, a set of 12 brand new spices from Burlap and Barrel. This is a spice brand that I've been wanting to try for years now. And Emmett so graciously gifted me 12 full-size spices. Today I will be using I think it's the smoked paprika. This is the main spice of the dish. And then everything else comes from pretty typical pantry ingredients. Just gonna chop up these carrots here. When I chop, I like to have a bowl for scraps next to me, and then a bowl for the actual item. And these new bowls are courtesy of Mr. Emmett. He's graduated. He's graduated from plastic bowls and into metal.
Trying to reduce microplastics.
True.
So what kind of recipes do you want to make this year? Are they all going to be from the New York Times?
So I think the general theme for my recipes is I do want to use my spices, not necessarily every single spice every single time, but I want to experiment with flavors that I am not as familiar with. And regarding New York Times, no, I don't plan on just using New York Times recipes. My dad has plenty of cookbooks. He has a lot of classic, like James Beard and Julia Childs. And then I have a small but well-loved collection of cookbooks that has been neglected. So I'd be excited to cook from Carla Lawley Music's That Sounds So Good with the other recipes.
Nice. How many recipes do you think you cooked in 2024?
Definitely cooked in 2024, but I was mostly doing simple cooking, like a protein and a vegetable, and just pairing it together as the days in the week wore on. So net new recipes, maybe 5. I'll have to look, maybe more.
So this is quite a leap.
Oh yeah, it's quite deep. But the good thing about New Year's resolutions is I think there's no shame in being a little aspirational.
No. And
setting the goal gets you further than not having a goal at all. This is a fun goal.
This is a good one. Oh, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
So I'm the recipient.
Okay. Now that the ingredients are prepped, we can start with the roast. So we start off with browning the meat.
Unveil the meat.
Unveil the meat. I'll unveil it, but first, let me just heat up some oil. Here we have brand new olive oil. Whoop!
Oh, shoot.
Push. So what did we learn, Emmett, about olive oil?
You want it to be single source, and you want it to be in an opaque container.
Yes, those two things. Single sourced, so that it's not a blend. Not yet verified, but it definitely is opaque. And look, it even has a Spotify code.
Why not?
How interesting. I actually noticed that in the burlap and barrel spice box. I guess all these cooking companies are creating
soundtracks
to cook with. But we don't have that. You have to just listen to me. Oh wait, you know what? Ooh. This looks like good olive oil, Emmett.
Thank you.
Nice job.
I picked it out.
So just about a tablespoon there. And then in the meantime, we're gonna unwrap the meat.
Yeah.
And Emmett got this meat.
Butcher counter at Whole Foods.
Oh wow, very professional. And in the recipe, it originally called for brisket?
It said you could use brisket or beef chuck. I opted for brisket because I love brisket.
Yeah, and the recipe said that it was traditionally a cheaper cut of meat.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day, but it's 2025 now. There's no such thing as inexpensive cuts of meat. So wow, look at this.
Looks nice. What a nice cut.
Very nice cut. There's no shame in little big meat, right? So we're just gonna put it down there and let it brown up a little bit. I'll leave it for about 2 minutes and then we'll flip it and let it brown again. And the recipe has some very particular instructions about letting it caramelize but not sizzle.
No, it said like let the meat sing but don't let it pop.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So we'll wait until we'll let that happen. Woo. The pot now, 1 chopped onion, let it brown and soften. The water from the onion is going to deglaze the pan, and all the brown bits of beefiness will get scooped up and help flavor the onion and ultimately our stew. I use my wooden spoon to make sure to scrape up these brown bits at the bottom of the pan. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt to help bring out extra water from the onions and make it cook a little bit faster. And about 3 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Just going to eyeball it. Get everything integrated. And now that it is a brown mass, as the recipe calls for, a tablespoon of tomato paste. I'm going to make some room in the middle for the tomato paste. Give 1 healthy squirt. Allow it to caramelize a little bit before stirring into the rest of the onion mixture. Absolute flavor bomb. It's a mixture of caramelized onions, garlic, paprika, little toasty tomato, and this is the base of flavor for your stew. I'm going to add the meat and all of its juices back in at this point. Like that. I'm going to add the mixed carrots that we chopped up earlier. And then finally, I'm going to add in some thyme. Okay, we've done most of the heavy lifting. Now we just need to lift it into the oven to chill out. So that's gonna sit for 3 hours.
3 hours later.
Okay. Now we're finally ready to taste.
It's pretty
It's pretty good. It tastes very natural
Yeah.
and real. It feels like a gentle recipe to bring in the new year
Yeah.
and to warm your bones
Yeah.
on a cold night.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good start to the year. It's made with real whole food ingredients, delicious flavors, low and slow. Don't jump to the chase, just take our time with things. I do think I could have added more salt, but that's something we can't fix.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. Especially since we layered it over a base chickpea pasta that's unsalted. There's a
There's
lack of salt.
There's a lack of salt.
Yeah.
I also think We should have listened to the Kenji comment and taken it off like an hour into, taken the lid of the pot off an hour into cooking to let it caramelize a bit more. Let some of the broth evaporate and then get it richer. I'm excited to see what 2025 brings.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for watching.
Cheers to the YouTube viewers.
Love you. Best producer in the world right here. He's the GOAT. Woo woo. Cut. This is nice.